right? I'm not. And the flip side of that, Adi, is smoking is a horrible addiction, as has vaping become now.
Yeah.
But it's and so what I've really learned from my intense triggering of people smoking around me or vaping around me is that I need to have more empathy for the addiction and the
Right.
severity of the addiction. And it sadly, I wouldn't listen before, but I tried to get myself off of sugar. Adi, do you like sugar?
Wow.
See,
I do.
I love it. And I tried to get my daughter's a nutritionist, and she said, Dad, you've got to cut back on your sugar. So I thought, well, I can do that. Oh my gosh, Adi.
That's
I
hard.
I was so addicted. And that instant, that moment I went, wow, dude, you've got to give people grace that have addictions. And that has been part of my journey, understanding better about emotional intelligence and what it's about. Accountability is one thing, I get it, and I'm all about it. But I also now clearly have a much deeper concept and appreciation for empathy and grace.
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. By the way, I read a really good book about addiction from Gabor Mate. I don't know if you
Oh,
know
not
this
familiar,
person.
huh?
Oh, you should. He's
Yeah.
really smart,
Okay.
and he was a doctor, and he talks about addiction and about empathy and trauma, and in general, he has this really good book about addiction. He was a doctor in I think in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
So he treated these people, and they had these really horrible life stories that
Mm,
made them more susceptible to being addicted.
mm,
And when you're thinking about it, like why do people are getting addicted? It doesn't matter if it's alcohol or drugs or smoking or sugar or working too much or sports.
well,
We have lots
whatever
of
it is.
kinds of
Right.
addictions, right?
Gambling. Right. Yes.
Yeah. So each one of them has a really good reason to do so. And once you're saying, okay, I'm not doing it, I'm aware of my body, I want to be healthy, and they don't care about their bodies and they're killing themselves, whatever. It's so righteous, right?
So
Just
righteous.
thinking,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm better, right?
Right.
I know things much better than this guy who's so
Right.
stupid
Yeah.
to do these things.
Yeah.
But you don't really know what happened in his life, what he went through, if we're talking about the driving, maybe he had this really terrible day and he got fired. You don't
Yeah.
really know
You don't
what's
know.
going on with this person and what's
Yeah.
going on in his life. So just some kind of humility. We don't know,
We
right?
don't know.
So
We don't know other people's stories. And when we begin to judge them, we are substituting our perception, our assumptions for their story. And
right.
99.999% of the time, we are totally wrong.
Yeah. I think that another thing that I remind myself when I get mad, and I do, and I curse a lot. My kids tell me you're cursing too much. So, but I am telling you, it's a way to transform bad energy just into a word, and then it's out there, and then it's not inside me. But when I think about it, I always think about the fact that we need to be more like soft the way that we perceive our world. We don't really know. We could add a question mark to most of the things that we're saying, and we're trying at our best to do like good decisions and to do good things in our lives, and even in our own lives we're not always doing the right thing, so we're trying to do so. So I don't want to imagine if I need to educate all the people on the roads in Israel. It's like too much for me, right? So
Good for
I have
you.
my own bag, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
You know,
So
that gets us back, indeed, to this is not an overnight process. This is a lifetime commitment of setting our intentions to transition from those reactive, instantaneous reactions to much more reasoned responses.